Friday to the Ungovernables, the Captain's Crew, the LFA family, McGroin Nation, coming to you live from the deep red state of Tennessee on rumble.com/LFA TV, also over on the X platform as well, where everything from the Billionaire Blowout took place yesterday. What a crazy, crazy time to be alive. What happened yesterday? What is the fallout from yesterday? What does the future look like from yesterday? But before we talk about the future, before we even talk about the present, I think it is worth noting the date. It is the 81st anniversary of the D-Day invasion of Normandy back in 1944. Obviously, American heroes alongside the soldiers and the armies of the Allied powers stormed the beaches of Normandy and took on the Nazis in what was really one of the turning points of the war. A very important move, a very important day in world history. 81 years later, we're watching grown men fight on social media. So that just shows you how far, as a society, not necessarily that we've fallen, but really how lucky we are to have this as our problem versus brave men storming a beach, many of them young men, storming a beach to fight off one of the most prolific forces of evil the world has ever seen. Yesterday was, look, it wasn't good. Here's some of the things. I see some level-headed takes. I see some bizarre takes. I see some drama, people acting like this earth, like crazy. Oh my gosh, this hurts so much. Come on. I mean, we don't have to dramatize it, okay? It was nasty. It was gross. Both sides, so to speak, could have been better. Elon crossed the line. I don't think it's unreasonable to say that. Elon crossed the line, and I don't think it's unreasonable to say that. Okay? Look, when Trump brought it up during the remarks that he was making about the EV mandate and the subsidy, obviously, clearly that made Elon upset. There are obviously other forces at play when you're dealing with how Elon responds to situations. I don't know if it's ever been confirmed. I'm not trying to say this to A, justify, or B, make light of Elon's, social, if you want to call it disorder or, impairment with Asperger's or whatever it is that he may have. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. All I'm saying is I know that sometimes can negatively impact the way you interact socially. The Epstein tweet was way below the belt and way over the line. And look, if you can't admit that, you could be the biggest Elon Musk fan in the world. If you can't admit that the Epstein post was over the line, below the belt, uncalled for, out of line, then we really can't have the discussion, right? And I think what needs to happen surrounding Trump and Musk is really the policy discussion that this whole thing ignited around. And I made a point yesterday in a video that has amassed almost 500,000 views over on the X platform. Okay, almost 500,000 views. It's nice. Happy to see everybody shared it. A lot of people sent some very nice compliments about it. Tens of thousands of people have liked it and shared it and commented on it and given their opinion. And I posted it on all social media platforms. And I basically narrowed it down to this, right? And our friend Misfit Patriot, who he's got a knack for getting everybody upset with him at once, made it a phenomenal point last night on Rebel News. And I'm going to play that clip. He sent it to me last night. He was on there essentially debating this absolute tool bag Malaysian grifter Ian Miles Cheong. If you don't know who that is, this is a guy who lives in Malaysia, but always has something snarky to say about American politics from over there, okay? Misfit put him in his place, and we're going to play that clip for you in a minute. But the point that I was making was that Elon Musk, I don't think he's cut out for politics. Look, here's what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to take anything away from him in terms of what he did. I've seen other people be like, well, we don't need you on his platform, right? Or look, Donald Trump did not need Elon Musk to win the election. I don't believe that. Donald Trump did not need X to win the election. I don't believe that. But it played a role. And I'm not going to take that away from Elon Musk. I'm not going to take away what he didn't have to do. He did not have to buy Twitter. I'm not going to take that away. He did not have to donate, $250 million to Trump's election efforts. He did not have to do that, right? I'm not going to take away any of that. I'm not going to take away any of the egregious examples of spending that he uncovered with Doge. I'm not going to take away any of that. Doing so just is silly. But I don't believe Elon Musk is cut out for politics. He served as a special government employee for 130 days. He was deeply involved in the Trump campaign. For, I don't know, what it was July to from really August onward, July onward. So the campaign goes from July to November. That's 4 months. And then he was up until now. So what was he involved in for 10 months? Donald Trump has been fighting these people for 10 years. Donald Trump has been enduring the pressure, the attacks, the lawfare, physical attacks, attacks against his businesses, people making up stories about, what happened in a department store, non-existent ties with Russia, impeachments, convictions, all of anything you could think of. People shot at him, right? And I wouldn't wish it on anybody else. But he's been dealing with this stuff for 10 whole years. Elon Musk has been in this arena, the political arena. He's had an opinion, but he's been in this arena for 10 months and cracked. And I think you're seeing, right, a guy, maybe he's a college prodigy. You think he's going to be the best quarterback in the NFL, and he just can't keep taking the hits, and that's it. His career's over before you know it. Elon's going to do fine in his businesses. He's going to do fine with X. He's going to do fine with SpaceX. He's going to do fine with, Neuralink and XAI and every Tesla, everything that he's involved with, okay? He's going to wind up doing just fine in that, and any other new ventures I'm sure that are going to come around, he'll do fine in that too. He's incredibly smart. He's an innovator. He's not cut out for politics, period. I watched enough sports to watch a guy play football who just is too small or just isn't cut out for the physicality of the game, who you could tell this guy's not going to last. Elon is not going to last in the political arena, period, end of story. And if that makes you upset, well, you got to find a way to tell me that yesterday isn't proof of that. Number one. Number two, there are a lot of people, I don't understand why this happens every single time something happens, who thinks it's not real. Again, you're entitled to your opinion, but I'm going to tell you what I think it is when you say, I don't think this is real or it's staged. It's copium, folks. It's a coping mechanism. Have you ever have that friend who can never do anything wrong and you see him trip on something and he acts like, oh, that's a no, I meant to do that. That's what it is. Okay. By the way, own a cat. Watch a cat fall off the table and just get up and no, you didn't see that. I did that on purpose, actually. That's not what this is. This was incredibly real. Look, who on earth, if you're staging something, is going to allow someone you would like to think is your friend to essentially call you a pedophile? Because that's what Elon implied yesterday. He doesn't understand the nuances of our system. He doesn't understand when it comes to passing legislation. Yeah, it's cool to beat your chest and scream cut spending. A, he's not identifying what spending he wants to cut. Nobody has seemed to be able to do that. B, when you have a slim House majority, and I said this 2.5 months ago, when we talked about the big, beautiful bill. Did I not? Gary said it yesterday. It's not going to be perfect. Why did we know it's not going to be perfect? Because the majority is so slim, and you have to chase every single vote of the 220 representatives that you've got there up on Capitol Hill. You got to chase every single one. In order to get every single vote, you have to give something, which means you've got to give something to 220 people. If you had a massive majority, 30 seats, you could afford to lose a few and say, no, we're not going to make a concession on that. No, we're not going to make a concession on that. No, we're going to, not in this bill, maybe next time. And you wouldn't have to worry about the bill passing or failing because you have more wiggle room. Elon doesn't seem to understand that when everybody gets something because the majority is so thin, so everybody can hold their vote hostage, everybody else has to give something. And when everybody gets, because everybody gives, you get bloated spending bills. Now, this spending bill isn't as bloated as some of the other ones that even people like Thomas Massie voted in favor of, which makes me question, is this principle or is this something else? Is it principle or personal? But B, a lot of people's talking about how much it adds to the debt. They're using CBO numbers that think that Trump tax cuts, they're treating the Trump tax cuts as revenue decreasers. When Donald Trump cut taxes in 2017, these are not new cuts. These are an extension of old cuts, and it actually increased government revenue. Not to mention the revenue that's going to come in from tariffs. Not to mention all the foreign investment in our country. Not to mention all the economic growth that can arise and can be born from people not having to pay more in taxes, having more disposable income to spend in the economy. Musk does not understand the nuances of the game, and it showed yesterday. And rather than keep this at a policy level, listen, I talk about Trump's personnel, endorsements all the time. I don't like them. I never will like all of them. I'll always say this is one of my biggest issues with him. You can talk about personnel. You can talk about policy. You can talk about any of that. You start accusing people, making implicit accusations, and you know how I feel about that because I've been on the receiving end of it. Sean's being paid by, name somebody here, and we have the receipts. You don't. You start doing that, you start looking like an a-hole. You get it? And Elon Musk yesterday looked like an a-hole. He went too far. And then like a couple hours later was like, ceasefire, peace. Sorry, that isn't the way it works, unfortunately. You can't just imply that somebody is a pedophile or maybe covering for a network of pedophiles and then 2 hours later be like, all right, I'm done. Let's shake hands and move on. It's not that simple. All right, we're going to get to a lot of that. Obviously, we're going to do calls today because it's, I'm sure everybody's got an opinion. One thing, it's not that I don't want to hear it, but one thing that I do not believe, I passionately don't believe, is that the Elon Musk, Donald Trump, billionaire blowout was staged or that they're working together or that there was some, oh no, the play was to get Democrats to demand the Epstein files. What does that matter? Republicans are the one in control and we don't have the files. Who cares what Democrats are demanding? You see? Maybe a silver lining and unintended consequence right now the Democrats want the Epstein files. I don't think they were working together. I don't think this was some sort of psyop. I don't think it's an intentional distraction. Does it distract us from other issues? Absolutely. It distracts us from other issues. But I don't think this was a psyop. I don't think they're working together. And I can't help but say every time something happens, that thought keeps rearing its ugly head. Like when the binders thing happened with the Epstein file, they were like, it was a sting operation. Really? Nobody was stung. Every time something happens, is it a psyop? When is it not a psyop? Again, I think this is 100% real, 100% genuine. You have two men with very large egos, lots of influence, lots of money, lots of power, and they had a falling out. And both could have done better leading up to the ultimate, bomb, if you want to say. But Elon doing the Epstein thing, was uncalled for and over the line. All right, before we get to all that, and we'll do your calls, we'll probably start a little early because I know everybody's going to have a lot of opinions today, which is good. And I'd love to chat about it. And then after this show, I'm going to be joining Boiling Point Live on Rumble, which is a lot of fun. So for those of you who want to come hang with a nice group of people over there, a little like a roundtable podcast, and Bongino Army, diehards, truth tellers, and patriots, I'll be on Boiling Point Live after this on Rumble as well. So if you want to check that out, Speak's going to be in there. I think Queen Anita, Rev is going to be in there. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time. So I'll be on there a little bit after this show ends, about 20 minutes or so, just to get everything cleaned up. Maybe, I've been on the radio for 2 hours. Now we're doing this. Before we go on all that, I'm going to talk to you about OFP Farms. Folks, Father's Day promotion at OFP Farms. Big news. Hot off the farm press right now, ladies and gentlemen. OFP Farms is dishing out a barn load of gift sets to make your dad, your papaw, your husband, your son, your best uncle, or that special father figure in your life feel like a king this Father's Day. Choose from the fabulous lineup of amazing beard and bath sets, soap boxes, wellness bundles, and a whole lot more. Round up your orders today. Time's ticking away, folks. Father's Day is right around the corner. It's next weekend, I believe. Time is ticking to get these goodies shipped out to your dad. And while you all know we used to love the Pony Express back in the day, we're trusting the good old USPS to deliver the goods. Guess what? You can get a 20% discount, 20% discount. A 20% discount at OFPfarms.com if you use the promo code Sean, S-H-A-W-N. If you spell my name incorrectly and you spell it S-E-A-N, I will hit you with a 25% tariff, and you will lose all the savings that you had gained by using promo code Sean at OFP Farms. It's OFPfarms.com, promo code S-H-A-W-N, promo code S-H-A-W-N for 20% off at OFP Farms for the Father's Day promotion. That's OFPfarms.com, promo code Sean, OFPfarms.com, promo code S-H-A-W-N, Sierra Hotel Alpha, Whiskey, November. All right, so we all know what happened yesterday. If you don't, you must have slept through the entire day. Because, look, yesterday morning at 4 in the morning, I was like, this is one of the worst headaches I've ever had. Little did I know we were going to be dealing with a bigger headache later in the day because Donald Trump and Elon Musk were going to have it out on social media. Okay? Elon Musk went overboard with the Epstein comment. This is the tweet that I'm talking about that he put up. Time to drop the really big bomb. Real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT. Uncalled for. And folks, we all know with the post that's up on your screen right now what Elon Musk is implying here. There are people being really obtuse about, well, he didn't say he was a pedophile. He said he was in the files. Yes, he did. And then he said that the reason why the Epstein files aren't coming out is because Trump is in them, right? As if he's covering for himself and covering for other people. Well, if Donald Trump was just on the flight logs, which we knew about, and there was no wrongdoing, what is he covering for himself for? You see what I'm saying? That argument will come back and bite you right in the rear end. We know what Elon was implying, ladies and gentlemen. We're not stupid, okay? Nobody's dumb here. We know what Elon was implying. And he doesn't have the evidence to imply it. Now, is that legally jeopardizing for him? No, probably not. Was it uncalled for, childish, and, just overall just way below the belt, way over the line? Absolutely. Absolutely. What led to that were comments that Donald Trump was making. Yesterday morning, Mike Johnson talked about Elon Musk. We'll play this clip.
We talked to Elon on Monday. He made this 180. What do you think changed? Why do you think he's coming out against this now? And have you spoken to the president and Elon since the infamous tweet?
Well, I'll tell you, I called Elon last night and he didn't answer, but I hope to talk to him today. I mean, it's not, it's very friendly and we've laughed about our differences on policy before. I'm not upset about this, and I just I think he understands, and he's acknowledged to me before that this is so serious that we can't fool around with it. I mean, the debt cliff is approaching very quickly, right? All the things that are in this bill are so important for the U.S. economy. It's going to be jet fuel for the U.S. economy. All boats are going to rise, and the sooner we do that, the better. And the risk of not getting it done is enormous, not just for the Republican Party, but for the country. We got to do this. We're going to have the largest tax increase in U.S. history at the end of the year if we fail, and all the other calamities that we've talked about. So we've got to get it done. And I think Elon understands the weight of that, and I hope he comes around. I'd love to talk to him this week and hope he calls him back today.
And that was before everything happened. And Johnson kind of looked a little rattled in that, almost like he kind of felt like things are really on thin ice. And again, Elon is not wrong to want to cut spending, but he is wrong to think that it's realistic to get every single spending cut that Thomas Massie and Rand Paul, who I like Rand Paul a lot, but these guys are asking for things that cannot realistically be delivered because of how the House is composed. And Elon Musk doesn't understand that nuance. He doesn't get it. That's the problem. Now, Donald Trump posted this on Truth. Whoa, that's all over my face. Look at that. Oh, I'll fix that in just a second. Donald Trump posted this on Truth Social last night. Elon was wearing thin. I asked him to leave. I took away the EV mandate that forced everyone to buy electric cars that nobody else wanted, that he knew for months was going to do, and he just went crazy. Trump also then came out again. I did this. What the hell happened? I thought I fixed this yesterday. The easiest way to save money in our budget, billions and billions of dollars, is to terminate Elon's government subsidies and contracts. I was always surprised that Biden didn't do it. That got Elon very mad. Elon then goes ahead and puts out the Epstein tweet, which you see right there. Okay. And then Donald Trump posted this final truth on Truth Social. I don't mind Elon turning against me, but he should have done so months ago. This is one of the greatest bills ever presented to Congress, a record cut in expenses, $1.6 trillion, and the biggest tax cut ever given. If this bill doesn't pass, there will be a 68% tax increase and things far worse than that. I didn't create this mess. I'm just here to fix it. This puts our country on a path of greatness. Make America great again. That's what Donald Trump said immediately after the Epstein post went out on X yesterday. I believe that's where Donald Trump's focus should be at this point. 78 million people. 78 million people voted for Donald Trump to make America great again. 78 million people voted for Donald Trump to bring about the golden age. 78 million people voted for Donald Trump to secure the border. 78 million people voted for tax cuts. 78 million people voted for Donald Trump, not Elon Musk, period, end of story. Did Elon help? He did. Did he help a lot? He did. Am I happy that he purchased Twitter and it's X now? I absolutely am. But the people voted for Trump, not for Elon Musk. Donald Trump was asked about this rumor of a phone call that's been going around. He's going to call him today. It's not happening. President Trump, when asked about a phone call with Elon Musk, said, quote, "You mean the man who has lost his mind? Not particularly interested in talking to him right now." A Trump aide said the president is more bummed than angry. This according to Walter Kurt, good friend of ours, at WC Dispatch over on X. And that was on a phone interview with ABC. So Donald Trump will not be speaking with Elon Musk. At least that does not look like it's in the cards right now. And I don't blame him. Look, if I'm Donald Trump, as soon as Elon put that Epstein thing out, I'm on the phone with Mike Johnson. I'm on the phone with John Thune. And I'm saying, look, this is ugly. It's bad. It definitely should have been handled differently. Could have been handled differently. I'm not happy. Let's get tax cuts done for the American people. I want to show you, though, because there are people who are defending Elon Musk because they like him, because, you know, they're fanboys, including this complete. There are people I don't like on social media. And then there are people like this guy, Ian Miles Cheong, who is he lives in Malaysia, ladies and gentlemen, but he continues to comment on American politics like he knows things. Guys, this guy is one of the dumbest people I have ever seen on the internet, ever. I mean, seriously, one of the dumbest. I can't stand this tool. So leave it to our friend Zach Bonfilio, the Misfit Patriot, to wind up last night on Rebel News debating this absolute tool bag and putting him right in his place and exposing him as the loser, know-nothing, degenerate blowhard that he is. Watch this.
It's like that is literally bankrupting their economy to the point where it just won't be able to even exist without
All right, that's a good segue.
immigrant workers.
That's a good segue, because what Trump's new big beautiful bill is proposing is tax cuts, right? And
Yeah.
there's a lot of tax cuts, and he's going to be trying to put more middle class, bolstering in this. So to bring back, before we wrap up this whole debate, we should finish it with what we were actually talking about.
I like how you've taken control.
What is Elon's problem with the bill, and what has he articulated? You're one of his biggest fans. You can't even articulate what his problem is with the bill. Can you name specific things that Elon Musk has said he has an issue with?
Yeah, it hasn't solidified Doge, and if you don't, have a plan in place to basically cut out waste over the next 4 years, then you're kind of screwed. You need that plan in place.
I think $1 trillion is what, 3%. So even if Elon's only found about $150 billion, right, in a few months, and even if he was able to, multiply that at an even rate, it would be probably 2027, 2028 before he got up to that 3% mark. And so not having Doge in there, obviously I want Doge in there, but not having Doge in there is a very small portion of the actual bill. So again, that he might have a very particular gripe with that because he created it, but is it enough to, basically try to railroad the whole thing and blow it all up? I don't think so. So what's Elon's real motivation here? Is it because he's not getting what he wants? Because his priorities should be about whether or not the bill overall is good or bad for the country. And he hasn't articulated how it's bad for the country. He just keeps saying spending. He just keeps on saying that word. Like, he doesn't articulate it.
Well, someone should ask him.
You're supposed to know. You're the fan.
One, and you're.
I'm not a mind reader.
No, but you're his number one fan. He'll read your tweet. Can you tweet that? Can you tweet it asking him, because he reads your tweet?
You can ask him that. You're a journalist.
But
don't worry, we'll clip that one part. We'll ask that. We'll ask him. We'll clip that part.
Just ask him. Yeah, just ask him ask him to articulate what his deal is with, what his beef is with the bill.
But you're defending his position, saying that Trump should be impeached without even knowing his position.
No, it's because Trump is not. It's just not a good leader. Okay, like it's a pattern of behavior. It's all that stuff. Yeah, it's bias. Yeah, everybody.
So Ian Miles Cheong was, undressed. Thankfully, not literally. On that video there, folks, that just shows you that there's no teeth in that argument. Yes, cutting spending is great, but saying that doesn't do anything. I want to cut spending, but I also understand how this game has to be played right now because of the hand that we've been dealt. Right? I mean, when you're playing poker, sometimes you don't have a great hand. You can't do much with it. And that's kind of what our House majority is like right now. The other thing that Elon, if Ian Miles Cheong is right, and he rarely is, but if he was right about Elon being upset about not, quote unquote, solidifying Doge or codifying Doge, the Doge cuts that, I don't know how many times I had to say it. We've been saying it a gazillion times on this show. The Doge cuts that everybody is looking for. Those spending cuts that everybody, all right, let me say this really, really clearly. I want Doge cuts. You want Doge cuts. Everybody involved in this billionaire blowout wants to see spending cuts. And we want to see a lot of the cuts that were proposed by Doge or uncovered, ridiculous spending examples uncovered by the work that Elon Musk did at Doge. Many, like the overwhelming majority of those cuts, cannot be addressed in a reconciliation bill. It can only deal with mandatory spending. How do we enact the cuts through Doge, right? The Doge cuts that we're calling them, and give those cuts a chance to be passed into law and codified by both chambers and the president's signature through rescissions? That's already happening. It's already happening. Anybody who keeps screaming about Doge cuts, I'm with you. I want the Doge cuts, but I don't just want Doge cuts for Doge cuts' sake, and then they get voted down in the Senate or filibustered. I want them to pass. It's just like the people who are screaming about, we want arrests. So do I. But you know what I want more than an arrest? A conviction. Or else the arrest is just an arrest and then the person gets acquitted and that's it. I just don't want Doge cuts to be proposed in some sort of standalone legislation in the House of Representatives, make it through by a couple of votes, and then get destroyed and killed in the Senate. I want rescissions that can remove this discretionary spending, not just from this year's budget, but now you can't ask for it next year and the year following that. And that was already happening. People don't know what they're asking for when they just start screaming Doge cut, Doge cut, Doge cut. Cut spending. They were doing that. Some of the spending that you want cut can't be addressed in a reconciliation bill. Mandatory spending only. The stuff that we all want together, we're on the same side of this issue, can be addressed and was being addressed through rescissions. This isn't difficult if you learn about the process and know what's going on. The problem is not a lot of that happening. And Elon unfortunately fell into this trap where he doesn't know the nuances. He doesn't understand how to play the hand that we've been dealt. We can't change the cards, right? Congress has been elected. We can't change what's going on in the House. We have to understand how to play this game to the best of our ability. For 2 months over that, we were saying here, once they started talking about a big, beautiful bill, what's the first thing I said? I don't like big, beautiful bill. I like single issue bills. However, they're going to put it all into one, and it's not going to be perfect, and it's going to be loaded with things that we don't like, but it's going to be the best that we can do. And if we want to do better, we have to elect better people. None of this stuff that happened yesterday in terms of the conversation, not in terms of what Elon did, shocks me. By the way, if Donald Trump could really be implicated in anything regarding what Jeffrey Epstein did, like the bad stuff, you think Hillary Clinton would have had to make up a dossier that fabricated ties to Russia that obviously didn't exist? Do you think the Democrats would have wasted any time on E. Jean Carroll and Stormy Daniels and had, basically enlisted the help of Fannie Willis and run wild and ridiculous cases about January 6th and classified documents if Donald Trump could be tangibly linked to Jeffrey Epstein? And by the way, the FBI was in possession, and the Department of Justice, which used to be run by Merrick Garland, was in possession of documents and evidence that would link Donald Trump to Jeffrey Epstein. Do you think they would have bothered with any of that? The answer is no. But it's not stopping people right now from accusing Donald Trump of being a pedophile because of what Elon said. That was his intended outcome. That's what he wanted to do. It was a personal shot. It was a low blow. It was a hit below the belt. And that was the very moment that Elon lost the debate. And I believe the very moment that he should lose his access to this administration in any meaningful role going forward. I don't care how much money he has. He does not. You can't trust him. You can't trust him after yesterday. You just can't. Elon threatened to decommission SpaceX, the Dragon space capsule. Then he walked that back, which is a good thing for the country. Elon Musk said Donald Trump should be impeached. I mean, he reposted that Ian Miles Cheong said that Donald Trump should be impeached and replaced with J.D. Vance. He says it in the clip with Zach. They're talking about, you said he should be impeached. He's going, yeah, well, he's a horrible leader. Well, okay, I'm going to look at the Constitution, which, by the way, you Malaysian tool bag. We're governed by this document. It's called the Constitution, and it lays out the criteria that need to be met in order to impeach a sitting president. Those criteria are treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors. Nowhere in the impeachment clause of the Constitution does it say because Ian Miles Cheong doesn't like him. But that Malaysian grifter, every time something, he starts coming in. Trump this. Oh, the United States that. The tariffs. It's going to wreck the market. Oh, while he's in another country. You know what? Worry about what's going on in Malaysia. Run for president or whatever office it is over there in Malaysia. And stay out of U.S. politics. Guy is such a tool bag. Well, he's a horrible leader. Okay, so you don't like him, so he should be impeached? You don't even live here. Elon reposted Ian Miles Cheong's post here. President versus Elon. Who wins? My money is on Elon. Trump should be impeached and J.D. Vance should replace him. Elon Musk says yes. No. Absolutely not. Now, what led to yesterday and Elon Musk acting the way he acted? We know he's got some sort of autism or Asperger's or whatever. There's rumors about drugs, which I wouldn't be shocked if those rumors were true. I don't know if they're true, but I wouldn't be shocked if those rumors were true. Whether it's Adderall or ketamine or whatever. I wouldn't be shocked. And I think the man just isn't cut out for politics. And I think that showed yesterday. And you know what, guys? That's okay. That's okay. Not everyone is cut out for that game. Elon's not cut out for it, for politics. He's been wildly successful everywhere else. This is not his game. He can't keep taking the hits. It's clear. The hits to Tesla, which Donald Trump stood behind him the entire time. Now Trump is saying he's going to give away the Tesla that he bought. I don't blame him. Got accused of some real nasty stuff yesterday. And let's be clear. Elon doesn't have access to the Department of Justice. And he didn't have access to the Department of Justice when he was the head of Doge. He doesn't know what's in the Epstein files, nor do we. To make that claim yesterday, that's the moment he lost the debate. That's the moment he lost the debate. All right. Let me get to a word from, let's get to the LFA TV store, then we'll do Armor Colostrum, and then we'll do a long call segment today, okay? Because I know everyone's probably got opinions. We want to chime in. We're on multiple platforms, obviously. It's a topic that everyone's got an opinion about and everyone's got a take on. So it is going to be at 631-527-4545. You can start calling. We're going to be doing your calls now at 631-527-4545 right after we get to a word from the LFA TV store and, of course, over our friends over at Armor Colostrum. So first, let's go to the LFA TV store. It's LFATV.us, LFATV.us, LFATV.us. Father's Day right around the corner, a week away. You can go to LFATV.us, click on the store tab, which you're going to see popping up on your screen at some point. I don't know why it's taking so long to load, but if you go to LFATV.us and click on the store tab at the top of the website. Yeah, I'm having problems loading the site. I'm not sure if it's me or if it's the site today or what's going on. But that's at LFATV.us, LFATV.us. Click on the store tab. Lots of gift ideas. There we go. It was just my browser. Lots of gift ideas for Father's Day. Also a 20% off spring cleaning sale over at the website, right? LFATV.us. Click on that Visit the Store tab off to the right. You'll see everything that there is to offer. There's shirts, there's coffee mugs, keychains, tote bags. The spring cleaning sale, the pop-up, as you see right there on the screen, 20% off. You can order all sorts of really cool gifts for you, your loved ones, mom, dad, aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, sons, daughters, whatever it may be, at the LFA TV store, LFATV.us or JeremyHerald.com/store, LFATV.us or JeremyHerald.com/store. Next up, Armor Colostrum. It's at tryarmor.com/LFATV, TRYARMRA.com/LFATV. Folks, you know that I am always on the lookout for ways to strengthen my immunity, my gut health, improve my fitness and metabolism, and enhance my skin and hair radiance. Well, this is Armor Colostrum. It can do all that and more for you. Colostrum is the first nutrition that we receive in life, and it contains all the essential nutrients that our bodies need in order to thrive. You can reactivate your hair growth and help your skin glow again. You can fortify your gut health and ignite that metabolism. A lot of people have a hard time with that. You can also fuel your fitness, performance, and recovery, harnessing the close-guarded secret of elite athletes. Long prize for its unrivaled ability to take performance to its apex. Armor Colostrum has been shown in research to help enhance nutrient absorption, promote lean muscle building, and improve endurance while fueling cellular repair regeneration for faster recovery. Specifically, colostrum has been shown to improve fitness endurance by 20%, decrease recovery time by over 50% after intense exercise, improve stamina, and specifically build lean muscle mass. And now you can get Armor Colostrum for 15% off at tryarmor.com/LFATV. That's TRYARMRA.com/LFATV. Tryarmor.com/LFATV for 15% off of your first order. Let's get to your calls. 631-527-4545. 631-527-4545. Wherever you are watching from. Wherever you're watching from, give us a call right here on our line, 631-527-4545. Somebody just tried to call and then hung up before I could pick up. So keep those calls coming in. Of course, I think we're getting a lot of calls at once. There's a lot of people who want to chime in. Here we go. Let's get to this one here. I'm going to try and connect this call as it connects right now. Elon, Donald Trump, billionaire blowout. I got you here. We're connected. Who do we have on the line?
Hey, Sean, it's Barb. Barb Naylor.
Barb Naylor, the maker of mugs. What's up, Barb?
Yes, the maker of mugs and hats and turkey feed and all kinds of groovy stuff.
What's going on?
Hey, I've just been feeling so bad. I have been so wrapped up in my day job stuff that I haven't been able to chat so much. And so I thought this morning, I got a second to sit down. I'm going to call y'all because you're doing it.
Love it. Thank you so much, Barb. We appreciate it.
I can't believe this stuff with you. I mean, I can believe it. It's, it was just a matter of time, I kind of think. But, oh, well, I hope they work it out. We're definitely better when they're working together than when they're not. So
I totally agree. And look, I think at some point they will work it out. Look at some of the people like Marco Rubio, for example. Donald Trump called him Little Marco for a long time. They had a thing for a long time. And now Marco Rubio is the Secretary of State. I think eventually it'll get worked out. I don't think it's going to happen, in the next couple of days, but I think they'll work it out because they are stronger together. You are right. They are stronger together. It's just tough when, the accusation of essentially pedophilia is levied. It kind of makes it a little different. Elon made it a little bit more about more than just policy.
Yeah, it was kind of hitting below the belt, which is it's disappointing. I had a better opinion of Elon day before yesterday than I do today.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't trust his judgment or his he's discipline. He can't, not in control. And that's, and I understand he suffers from, Asperger's or autism and things like that. I get it. So there are circumstances beyond his control, but got to be better.
But it was a very high school thing to do.
It was cafeteria politics yesterday. Well, Barb, thank you so much for your support. Appreciate your time calling us, and be sure to call again when you have a chance.
I will. Hey, God bless you both. I love you so much, and keep up the good work.
All right, thank you. Barb Naylor giving us a call out from the Rumble chat there. The great Barb Naylor, the maker of mugs. The maker of mugs. We love the maker of mugs. All right, 631-527-4545, 631-527-4545. Another call coming in. We're connecting to it right now. Elon, Donald Trump, big blowout, lots of opinions. Who do we have on the line here?
This is Speak the Truth McGroin.
It's
I
was going to say, this does not sound like Speak the Truth McGroin to me. I know what he sounds like. Who do we got?
This is Jason King. Good morning, sir. How are you?
What's up, Jason? How are you?
Nothing. Just got the tinfoil hat hair this morning when I woke up. Thanks for clearing all this up. It's hard to see parents arguing.
Oh, yeah, I hear you.
It's a beautiful new day.
Yeah. No, it's tough. It's tough. It's tough. It's tough when you're dealing with, you watch both of these guys and they had such a great relationship, but you knew it, under the surface, not necessarily that there was tension, but their personalities are, I can say, combustible, right? And we saw combustion yesterday. Not to say we can't put the fire out, but it's just, like you said, it's tough to see parents arguing. That's the best comparison.
At this point, we've got pedophiles and terrorists on the loose. We've got a lot of other things to worry about, and it's a brand new day. Thanks for carrying the truth, and I can't wait for Boiling Point Live for my favorite people in the world on the same screen at the same time, minus Brennan. So I can't wait. I'll be listening. And just thanks, brother. I'll let you get another one.
All right, thanks. Awesome. Jason King, that's the Bongino Army Staff Sergeant. He's excited for Boiling Point Live later, which is going to be a good time. I'm pretty sure I know who this is, but I'm not going to assume. But I recognize the area code, so I'm pretty sure I know who we have. Who do we have on the line here?
Hey, Sean, I got through. It's Matt Brown.
Matt Brown. I knew it. I just didn't want to say it because I want to be like, it's Matt Brown. And then someone will be like, it's not Matt Brown. No, that's right. Matt Brown. What's up, Matt? How are you doing?
Good. Listen, I just want to take it in a little bit of a different direction. The Elon Musk thing, just want to get your opinion on this.
Sure.
It just seems a little bit too much to believe that this guy, I mean, most of these stories of these geniuses, they get into college when they're 16 or 17. They leave early because they're so smart. Right. Elon Musk graduated University of Pennsylvania at the age of 25. You know, that's strange. He comes from South Africa. All of a sudden, the guy invents, he wants to do like rockets. So he starts off inventing Solar City, founding Tesla, SpaceX, Starlink, Neuralink, all this stuff. To me, and he's been with like 7 or 8 different women that he's fathered 14 children with.
That's the thing. Yeah, definitely.
So here's the thing. And this is going to sound crazy, so you could dismiss me as a bit of a nut job, but I'm willing to go there.
I'm willing to hear it.
Right. Is to me, it almost sounds like our country maybe realized like we need to compete with China, and they have something called state capitalism, where their government is throwing all these resources into moving technology forward. And our private sector is a little scattershot and not keeping up. And is it possible that Elon is kind of a front man for this big kind of government complex that is pushing all of this technology forward? And, you know, they needed someone to be this persona, the face of it, because it just doesn't make sense that this guy could drop everything and campaign in Pennsylvania for a month. That he said, I'm going back to Tesla and I'm going to be sleeping on the factory floor and just 100% on Tesla. And then he's rage tweeting at the president. It just, something to me does not add up about this guy, that one man could do all of this stuff. And I wonder if this feud between Trump and Musk might be kind of under the surface a feud between some bigger forces that are behind the scenes in our government and in our, you know, country, kind of competing for whose vision is going to win.
Well, I'll tell you, live chat thinks it's very interesting what you're bringing up, and I think it's interesting too. You know, I obviously would take a lot to prove it, you know, totally, but I'm not going to. I have no idea how this guy operates. We do know, I think what we know is the Asperger's thing obviously is a wild card, right? So that's one thing, and I will never hold that against somebody. Can't control it, right? So it'll kind of change the way, you know, he'll interact. He's not going to interact normally because of that, and he can't control that. There have been a lot of rumors of, you know, stimulant use. Right? Rumors. Again, I don't know if it's true or not. Right. Those two things together, you get probably, especially if it's repeated, you know, imbalances, and you get a very erratic behavior. And I think that's part of it. Could it be bigger forces? It could be. I'm going to be I'm probably going to defer to his own, you know, the Asperger's, the potential drugs, his own personality. You know, we've seen him lash out at people before. I don't think this is unique to this situation for Elon. So, but it could be these things that you're describing. It very well could be.
I'm just thinking that it's too good to be true almost, that we've got this real life Tony Stark. Everybody wants to believe it, and that's why you can get people to believe it. But part of me is just saying I don't buy it.
Well,
so I just want to put that out there.
And it's and now after yesterday, it's tough to trust him, you know, with anything going forward. But thanks for putting it out there. A lot of people seem to think, hey, this is worth looking into. So awesome.
Okay. Well, thanks for not dismissing me as crazy.
You're not crazy. You're awesome. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate you.
Take care.
All righty. Matt Brown, the great Matt Brown, our hitting coach from the chat. Always talking about our batting average. All right, you got another call coming in. Man, it's rapid fire phone calls. Here we go. Who do we have on the line here?
Gas.
Guess. I don't know.
It's Mimo.
Oh, it's Mimo. I don't have your number saved on my digital thing. What's up, Mimo?
Well, I just want to say I don't like what's going on, but I'm very impressed how you've handled all this. You have been so calm about it.
Well, thank you. I mean, I think that's the best way forward, right? If people are yelling at each other to kind of try and de-escalate. But also, I think it's very simple. From what I see a guy who doesn't understand the nuances of politics. I see Donald Trump, who has essentially been attacked by the nuances of politics for the last 10 years. And we had what we had yesterday.
Right. I agree. And if we're true Trump supporters, we're going to always stand behind Trump, no matter what.
I'm going to stand behind him as long as I don't think he did something egregious. And again, could he have handled some of what he did yesterday better? Of course, it's Trump.
Yeah.
But we could all of us can say that about everything that we do, right? We can look in the mirror and say, yeah, I probably could have handled that a little better, or yeah, maybe I'll do that differently in the future. We could all do that. So that's not a reason to abandon him, and it never should be. Had he come out and accused Elon Musk of being on the Epstein list, I would probably say, all right, well, it's time to release it then, So if Trump is doing things that I think is unforgivable, I won't support it. But I think, look, he could have handled it better, but Elon Musk went way over the line, and it is our job, I think, as supporters to call that out and support Donald Trump through this.
It's going to take time for this to get straight.
Agreed. It's going to take time. What do you think? You think Elon Musk and Donald Trump, watch this. This is a good rate. Do you think Elon Musk and Donald Trump will call each other and shake hands, or do you think we'll hit 800 rumbles first?
Well, they'll shake hands before we ever get 800 rumbles. We have the laziest family for rumbling.
Oh, my gosh. Well, I love you, Mima. Thank you so much for the call, and thank you for the kind words. I appreciate it.
I love you and Brennan. Y'all
All right,
have a good day.
Thanks so much. See, and she's very sweet on the phone, but she's going to get you. She will. She's going to get you. Here we go. She's getting through. Here we go. Man, we could have taken calls the whole hour today, which I kind of felt like was going to happen. Everyone's got an opinion. What's up, Heather from Kansas City?
Hello, how are you all today?
Oh, well, we're getting by. We're doing all right.
Oh, very good. There's a couple things on the Elon and Trump thing. I think it's kind of funny, a bro fight or whatever they want to call it.
It started as a bro fight. Now I think it's a little bit more than that.
Yeah, and I hope that they can kind of make amends, honestly, because let's just move on.
I think they will. I think it's just going to take some time, but I think they will.
And I think it's kind of funny that the left is like, now, I love Elon. They're all fawning over Elon.
Exactly. Yep.
And so my other thing was, I don't know if Brendan told you my weather story, but I have a weather story for you from this week.
I think there was a tornado, right, or something that came through you guys?
Yeah, we had several tornadoes in the area, and the sirens went off for 45 minutes to an hour.
Whew.
So I went outside. I'm like, we'll never go down to my basement until it's outside my house.
Right.
Well, I was watching the clouds. They were at a diagonal, and they were circling in a circle. And I'm like, I think that's the funnel and the tornado. So I got a video of it. So I think that there was one right above our house. So after that, my husband sent me a picture of the cloud that looked like Independence Day kind of cloud circling.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we're going to go downstairs now. It looks creepy. But anyway, I had to tell you that because I know you like weather too. And it was pretty neat to see because I've never seen it like that before.
I do love weather. And what you may have seen may not have been a tornado at first. You may have seen, in order for a tornado to form, thunderstorms will rotate because of the convection.
Yeah.
And if they rotate hard and fast enough, that's when you get the tornado. So you may have seen it starting.
Yeah, I probably did. And the atmosphere is very weird and humid, and then it was
like
calm,
did you see green and orange clouds?
No, but I have seen that before.
The green is usually the reflection of light off of hailstones. By the way, it's so cool.
Yeah, there was a lot of wind in the clouds, though. It was like the coolest thing, though, because it spun at a diagonal, and I had never seen clouds spinning at a diagonal.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway,
a lot of wind shear.
Let's get some more calls.
Thank you, Heather.
Yeah, you guys have a good day, and we'll hope that this thing just passes on by.
I hope so, too. Thank you, Heather. Have a great weekend. Heather from Kansas City. We got time for one more call. I see a lot of people trying to get in to be the last call. One more call to go before we go for the day, and then I'm going to probably maybe make something quick to eat and then jump on Boiling Point Live as I get some of my post-show stuff done. Boiling Point Live is going to be a fun time today with the entire gang over there, 631-527-4545. Final call here. This is an area code that I am very familiar with. We have one more call to go. This is going to have to be a 30-second call because we got to run, but who do we have on the line here, and what's on your mind?
Hi, Sean. It's Jackie. How are you?
Jackie from East Tennessee. What's up, Jackie? How you doing?
I'm good. So here's the thing that's bugging me is that black eye, and no one's bringing it up. Of course, they never do. But I know that if I were talking to somebody and they had a black eye, just out of concern, I would say, hey, how did that happen?
Right.
And no one's asking, at least not that I've seen. And based on what we know about the globalists and their signature sign of being a globalist is that black eye.
Well, Elon has addressed, somebody asked him about the black eye, and he said that his kid did it, that maybe he punched him or a toy was thrown. I have no idea. I would hope that that's what it was, and it wasn't anything more sinister than that. Unfortunately, we have to leave it there because I got to run for Jeremy coming up, but it's always great to hear from you, Jackie. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you, Sean. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Jackie from East Tennessee. As we got to run, Jeremy Harrell coming up next. What is behind Elon Musk's black eye? I don't know. It could be something sinister. It could be, maybe little X threw a block and it hit him in the face. I have no idea. He did say that his son did it, and hopefully that's the extent of all of that. We would hate to, I would hate to have it be anything worse than that. Yeah, Jeremy Harrell coming up next. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching and listening. As President Trump says, we will never give up. We will never give in. We will never, ever surrender. If all else fails, we'll just become ungovernable. Thank you. God bless you. God bless this one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Have a great rest of your week. Have a great weekend. I'll catch you on Boiling Point Live in a little bit on Rumble. Jeremy Harrell coming up next. In the words of John Fetterman, good night, everybody. Bang gavel. We will catch you on Monday.